4.0 panel discussion on role of ISM in the future of sustainability and energy security, organized by Naresh Vasist Center for Tinkering and Innovation, NVCTI, IIT ISM Dhanbad. The dialogue series aims to bring out the best and make change and come up with the creative solutions. I would love to introduce to you to the panelists, but before that, I would like to thank to our esteemed beloved professor, Professor Pankaj Mishra, sir. He is Associate Dean and Head of the Center of NVCTI, and Professor Ajit Kumar, sir. He is the coordinator of the Institute event, NVCTI, for marking their presence in this enchanting yet soul-striving event. Thank you so much, sir. Welcome, sir. Before we move ahead, I would like to request Professor Pankaj Mishra, sir, to address us and say a few words before we start the event.
I think Pankaj Mishra sir is having some issue in connectivity.
Okay, sir.
Yes,
okay,
Ajit,
sir.
I am here now.
Okay, okay.
Welcome, sir.
Yeah, thank
you. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. So go ahead. Meeting is started. Ajit?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They are waiting for your address, actually. Please, sir.
Oh, okay. Actually, I just came. Actually, I have some problem in my laptop. So I think the problem is only with Zoom. It is not there with other hosts. So okay. So thank you for this invitation. And the most important thing which I would like to see here that we are now we are now in a fourth edition of our dialogue series. And each time we came out with some important topics of relevance. And this topic is also very important. And I hope that our students will give some new ideas which will be fruitful for all of us in future. So the most important thing which I would like to add here is that the NVCTI is organizing lots of events from last 1.5 years. And this SIC, the Student Innovation Cell, which we are having with us, is made up of very dynamic leaders. And with the help of them, we will continue this journey. And we hope we will be able to provide many brainstorming sessions to all our students. So thank you. Welcome, everyone. And I request to the host to start the meeting. Yeah, hello?
Yes.
Yes, Harshada, please continue.
Thank you so much, sir. It was a great start. So moving on, I want to introduce my panelists to you all. So for today, we have Lavkush Mishra, who is from the 5th semester BTech from Environmental Engineering. Sambran Dora, 3rd semester BTech from Electronics and Communication Engineering. We have Rashmi Kumari from 3rd semester BTech from Petroleum Engineering. We have Chaluri Srihari, who is doing PhD in Mining Engineering. And we have Ayushman Tiwari, who is doing BTech from Mining Engineering too. And with that, we have Anushka Ray. She is doing 3rd semester BTech from Environmental Engineering Physics. I'm sorry for that. We have Shrivanshu Baranwal, who is from 3rd semester BTech Mining Machinery Engineering. Welcome you all. And today, I, as Harshada, will be moderating for today's discussion. before we move ahead, we have some ground rules which I feel each of us should follow for a good and a better event. The first and the foremost is mainly the decorum of the event. So we all are requested, everyone is requested to just be in a decorum, maintain the decorum of the event. And the discussion within the panelist has to be through the moderator, and everyone in the panelists are requested to come up with new points so that the audience and everyone can dwell upon and create a good conclusion to this panel. And to the audience, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask through the chat box, so that which can be forwarded to in front of the panel. And as since we are doing this event virtually, so it is advised to the panelists and as well as to the audience to keep themselves muted so while one panelist is speaking, so that there is no disturbance within the discussion. So with this, I would like to commence today's session. So for the audience who are very new to this panel discussion concept, let me just tell you what is this panel discussion all about. Panel discussion is a discussion in which few people arguing on or expressing their views of specialized topics, carrying on conversation in front of audience. So this dialogue series is a panel discussion which rang up the curtains to shed light on the most ingenious and the innovative solution to the predicaments by gleaning the latent talent of the students in the institute. So once again, today we are here with the significant, weighty, and the thought-provoking discussion in this dialogue series 4.0. So as we have known that today's topic, we will be revolving around the role of ISM in the future of sustainability and energy security. As we know that most of us are cognizant of the genuine issue of global warming and the climate change, which has led the world to look towards the cleaner source of energy. Yes, we are up to, and we know how much it is affecting us. This has raised the question of energy security. Today's discussion is all about trying to seek a balance in the trade-off between ensuring the nation's energy security by extracting more fossil fuels and finding ways to tackle the growing threat of climate change through the clean tech innovations. And additionally, what ISM has the role as a leading institution can do to play on this information, on this regard. So without any further delay, I would like to start our panel discussion, raising our very much first question, like what exactly motivated you as to be the part of this panelist, to be the part of this forum? I think we can start with Lavkush.
Yes. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Yes. So the basic question was that why I got motivated to attend this lecture is that before this, I was also present in previous dialogue that was on vocal for local in my second year. And it was really great to be here because you are able to understand others' views as well as you are able to express your views on different topics. This time we have energy security and sustainability. And basically this topic is really a very demandable topic, and we need to express our views so that we can know what are different technologies and what are different perspectives that people have related to energy security, and how we as an engineer can play an important role in future security of India. So it's really a great event to join. Thank you.
It was a very great theme to be the part of this dialogue series. Very good, Lavkush. So we can move forward to Samrant. Like, what are your views? Like, why did you really wanted to be the part of this?
Yeah, am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
First of all, good evening to everyone present over here, and honorable professors and my honorable professors and my fellow panelists. The topic role of ISM in energy security itself is very captivating for me. Actually, it is a burning topic and it need more attention we need to discuss it, as well as the need of the hour is energy security. So I would like to hear my fellow mates discussing about this topic, and I would like to hear their opinions as well as views through which we can learn, and who knows that we can come up with a solution that is extraordinary and will be useful not only to ISM as well as to the whole country. Thank you. Basically, this motivated me.
Such a captivating thought. Samran, thank you so much. Rashmi, like, what is your point for it? Like, why are you to be the part of the panelist?
I am a petroleum engineer, and we are dealing with energy production all the time. So as a result of this, I have a great interest in the energy revolution, which we are experiencing around this. And if there is one thing which affects the majority of human population, it's energy. So every person from every country has energy needs, and it is our duty as the coming generation to ensure the cheap, efficient, and safe production and distribution of energy resources to all the people out there. We are having a lot of points to take into consideration while talking about this.
Your voice is low.
Oh, my voice is low. Hello?
Now it is okay.
It's better.
All right. So I think I should start again.
Yes, sure.
So I'm a petroleum engineer, and we are dealing with energy production all the time. And as a result of that, I have a great interest in the energy revolution which we are experiencing around us. And I said that if there is one thing which affects the majority of human population, it's energy. Like every person from every country has energy needs, and it is our duty as the coming generation to ensure that there is a cheap, efficient, and safe production and distribution of energy resources to all the people out there. And for this, we have to take into consideration a lot of points like advancement of technology coming of artificial intelligence, climate change. So I thought that it would be a great idea to talk to people of my age, know about their ideas. I love to talk about this.
Thank you, Rashmi. Totally related as a petroleum engineer to you. So moving on to Cheluri, what do you want to, why did you want to be a part of this?
Hi,
Yes,
everybody.
Srihari. Yeah.
A very good evening. Actually, the topic itself grabbed my attention, and ISM being one of the reputed institutes, and actually before it's been an IIT ISM, it's like ISM is the only institute, sole institute that works on mining and all these specializations, where all over India you can't find these specializations which are present in ISM anywhere. So we can say that the research work, or anything that ISM is working, like no other institute works on it. And myself, I did my master's in geology, and after later I have studied something related to climatology, meteorology, later into mining department, and I have did some work related to geophysics. Means I spent most of my career in geology and earth science departments only. So I thought making a view of for any sector like mining, petroleum, fuel, metallurgy, anything, geology is the base according to my opinion. Once a geologist comes into place, then only all other sectors comes to place. So as a geologist, I want to make a point here. So how his role will be there, and I want to know how the other departments rather than geology are working on, so as to make my point there. Thank you.
Thank you, Srihari. And like moving on, like I would like also know from Ayushman, sorry, like what's your viewpoint?
Good evening, everyone. My motivation was also quite similar to the previous panelists. As we all know, IIT ISM holds a very central position across the country as far as the higher studies and earth science-based branches are concerned. We are among the very few IITs having these many earth and energy-based branches. And being a student of mining engineering, which is one of the main domains in India related to energy production, I thought this is a great opportunity for me to be a part of such discussion.
Okay. So moving on to Anushka, yeah, your points.
Yeah. So the way the other panelists pointed out, energy is a really important topic today. Also, ISM is at a very unique position now. The way my fellow panelists pointed out that ISM started off as Indian School of Mines, and it deals specifically with mining and everything related to that. Also, it has so many earth science branches. What makes the situation so unique is that ISM has evolved to become IIT ISM and has other branches today like environmental sciences or engineering, physics, electronics. These branches together puts ISM in a unique position as to what the future of energy is going to be. I believe the role of ISM is a vital one, and being a part of the discussion is really important. And I'm grateful that I could be a panelist here.
Lovely. Your views in the Google form made it very much entrancing to be you the part of the panelist. Lastly, we would like to love to know about what Shivanshu thinks about why he is the panelist. Shivanshu, please.
Good evening, all my fellow panelists, to professors, and all the audience. Hello. Am I clear with my audio?
I think it's breaking. Like it's not that much clear.
Yeah.
Hello.
I think we can.
Actually, I don't have a very stable internet connection.
Okay, Shivanshu, your voice is breaking. So perhaps we could come back to you later when your internet is better. We can move on with the discussion.
Okay, sir.
Okay. As Shivanshu is just facing some few network issues, we will be moving on to our very first question. Like, really, we are here to discuss about energy sustainability, right? So what do you exactly think as a citizen of India, like where our nation, like literally where it comes, when it comes to sustainability and energy security, where it really stands? And adding to it, how can the issue of sustainability be brought forth to the local level? So like chronologically coming up, like I would love to start with Lavkush. Like, what do you think for this?
Okay, so this question we can divide in two parts. One is the energy security, another part is for sustainability. So if you see India, India is the unique mixture of each and everything. It has ocean, it has sun rays, it has a huge amount of water, it has also geology, means thermal energy. So if you see India, India has almost 7,516 kilometers of coastline, which we can definitely, which we are basically using for wind energy, but still they are not at that level which should be there. For example, in solar energy, we have the capacity to reach up to the 1,45,300 megawatt, but still we are using up to the 30 to 45 megawatt only. We as a nation are the part of heading the International Solar Alliance, so that shows our interest that how we are actually moving forward towards sustainability. And we as a nation are also taking more and more part in lots of international conference, like whether we talk about Paris Climate Deal in 2050. And let me make you one thing clear, is that we would be the one of the very few nations that those who are going to complete their targets of Paris Climate Deal in 2025. We had a target that we would have 100 gigawatt of hydro energy and 60 gigawatt of wind energy up to 2020, and we are almost going to reach there in 2022 if we move in such a pace. Still, because of pandemic, we are a little bit back, but still we are on the track. Talking about the energy security, how we are moving, you can see in our daily life. For example, we have Ujjwala Yojana. You see that in rural areas, women have suffered a lot. They have a problem of suffocation because of the using the fossil fuels, wood, and then paper, etc. And this Ujjwala Yojana has created an immense effect on rural economy, because now the women are not only have the LPG connection who are below poverty line, so they can basically cook the food in a very good environment. Secondly, they have a quite free time, so they can participate in other economic activities and contribute in a country's GDP. So these are something which we are very positive, and I'm very positive that India is doing a lot good in this sustainability and energy security.
Yeah, you really proved that you were a great part of the panelist, because it was totally, your information was totally packed with statistics and even a lot of information regarding different parts of India. Thank you, Lavkush. This was a great start. So moving forward, I would like to know more about this point. Like, what Sambrant, what do you think about this regarding this topic?
So, as the previous panelist, Lavkush has already stated most of the statistics that are for of the India, and I do believe that India is India is a developing country and it is doing better in regards of the renewable sources as well as the limiting the fossil fuels. Where we see the statistic, it is also clear that India is the third largest consumer of oil, and its energy demand is growing 4.2% every year. So we have challenges as well as challenges to be tackled. So India energy consumption is expected to be 4.5%. It will grow every year for the next 25 years. It is endowed with abundant energy resources, and therefore it must meet its development needs by using all the available domestic resources which we have to meet the India's need, like coal, oil, hydropower plants, and other renewable energy resources. So where we see on a big picture, we see is that how do we want to grow? Do we want to grow as China? Do we want to grow as USA? Or do we chart our own path for the development of our country in this energy security? So the better method would be to chart our own path and go for our own method of energy security, because India has different demographics, and India's is a country which has more than which has different countries in itself. Like all the states are different in itself. So to meet their demands as well as their needs, we need to look upon those matters as well. The energy and electricity sector arguably presents the most critical infrastructure bottleneck. And indeed, the supply constraint that we are facing is bad for our Indian economy. So these are some of the challenges, but it need to be tackled upon. So as the previous panelist has pointed out on the rural implementation of the rural implementation, I would like to state that yes, the Ujjwala Yojana, usual Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, as well as the Saubhagya Yojana, these have helped the rural areas develop much in the much more in a broader perspective. But we need to look upon that the fuel that they are using is 90% domestic fuels they are using, which causes pollutions and respiratory diseases as well. So what we need to look upon in the rural sector is we need to transform the energy resources completely. Now the government is providing solar power pump, water pump to the rural India. So these yojanas as well as these schemes are proving to be applied in a right manner, and I hope for the better future of India. Thank you.
Thank you, Samran. Like, it was literally connected to the very ground face, very root thing. You tried to make it like what really local people are facing and how India is just doing that for them. So moving forward, I would like to go for Rashmi's point of view. Like, what's your view on this question? Rashmi, you are muted.
India has great potentials for sustainable energy development, because we are obviously like currently we are having 80% non-renewables, but if we see the growth, if we see the graphs and the projected outcomes, we see that there is going to be an exponential increase in the solar power sector. We see that solar power has been constantly rising, and it is expected to match the coal levels by the next 2 decades, and I think which is a very great thing. Along with that, as my fellow panelists pointed out, we have a long coastline and we have adequate wind resources, and solar and wind are quite available in a lot of areas of India. Uh, we every day we are seeing establishment of new solar panels, um, wind farms. So India has always been a leader when it comes to non-renewable resources because we have a lot of resources, to be honest. So, and another thing is coal percentage has been steadily decreasing if we see the graph. So we are sure of this, that we are decreasing our dependence on non-renewables and we are constantly increasing it on the sustainable, the renewable things, and which is a great thing when it comes to sustainability for India. Uh, Now, when it comes to security, so the energy security for India is a bit complex because we import a lot of oil uh, and natural gas. Around 80% of our demand is met by international import. So, energy security when it comes to transportation is a thing which we need to work upon because in the coming decades, we are going to see an explosive rise in the transportation sector. We are going to see more cars, more trucks, more planes. Everything is going to double, triple. And to keep up with that, we need to have a greater push towards electrification because oil comes from oil, but electricity we can have from other resources like renewables. And so that is one thing because the security, the oil security has been always in, somewhat insecure state. Along with that, we need to have better distribution of electricity. That is one of the major things because the electricity boards of our country are not very financially sound. A lot of them are not very financially sound because there are losses, technical losses, management losses. We have billing and collection problems. So if we include that, the electrification is going to improve. We are going to depend more on the renewables. We're going to depend less on the non-renewables, and obviously we need to work for the security sector because India's security on oil and all those things depend mainly on the international sector. So sustainability, we are quite good. For security, we need to work upon that. And coming to bringing it forth on a local level, I think instead of focusing on major grids which produce electricity and then distribute, we can have a localized section, right? Localized solar farms, localized wind farms, which can effectively distribute to the local areas and put less load on the grids. Thank you.
Thank you, Rashmi. They were really captivating, but I would like to request to all the panelists. I know you guys have researched a lot about it and want to say a lot about it, but as for the time constraint, we can keep it a bit short so that everyone gets a chance to say more about it. Yes. So moving forward, I would like to request Ayushman to share his views on this topic.
Yeah, I completely agree with the previous panelists on their views regarding the huge potential of India having the renewable sources of energy. But in my view, as far as the energy security is concerned, we are not producing enough energy for our needs, which is evident from the power cuts in most towns and villages. So in other words, we are not able to meet the demands for the energy due to limited supplies. So we really need to work on this. We really need to speed up the process of transitioning to renewable energy or to extend and more efficient way of producing energy. And as far as the issues of sustainability to be bringing on to the local level, I suggest that we can organize awareness campaigns, nationwide citizen awareness campaigns, so that it would educate the citizens more about this. And the campaigns are difficult to sustain if everyone doesn't come forward. So every citizen should come forward in this and play a part. So yeah, that's what I would like to say.
Thank you, Ayushman. It was short, but it was quite crisp. Moving on, I would like to request Srihari. Yeah, you can put up your points.
I just want to make main for all the participants who are there, like 2 points I want to mention. Like everyone is speaking like energy security, sustainability. Like many might not be knowing like what energy security means. I want to say about it. Energy security is an uninterrupted availability of energy source at an affordable price. Energy source continuously we are requiring and we want it in an affordable price. Both things having at the same point is a difficult one. Next with the sustainable energy. The resources that we currently having, we should be maintaining further without jeopardizing the climate or the future generation. When this is done, then it is called sustainable energy. As I don't speak about statistics, but as a layman also we can understand like India is growing so much in the population. To maintain this population and meet their needs, we need something more that has to be done, and institutes like us can take part in it. And coming to the local level, every part of India has some source of energy, and that source of energy will be understood by the local people only. So if we just get them educated and get knowledge from them and share our knowledge to them, then we can make a good progress in local level also. Thank you.
I'm sorry. Thank you, Srihari. Like I was muted and then speaking away. Coming to the base point every time, like we move on further, but we really cannot catch what is the base point, what is the base meaning. So thank you for explaining it briefly, Srihari. Moving on, Anushka, what is your viewpoints on it?
Yeah. So when we look at India and its energy situation, that is when it comes to sustainability and energy security, at present now, India is nowhere near where it should be. It's a long way to go because as my fellow panelists pointed out, India is still hugely dependent on non-renewable resources, mainly fossil fuels. Coal is a major part when it comes to electricity generation. And there is oil, which India actually has to import because its domestic productions are not enough. So if we have to become secure when it comes to energy, if we want sustainability, then in that case, we still have a lot to cover, mainly because we lack the infrastructure. There are a lot of small scale projects and a lot of funding going into trying to push through into renewable energy technology and renewable energy industries, but still we have a lot of work to do because we don't have infrastructure, we don't have supply lines, we don't have a way to store energy properly because renewable energy sources like solar energy or wind energy, and there are a lot of issues that come up when we're looking at sustainability and energy security. Though the government is trying, there have been a lot of projects like our panelist mentioned, and we might just become one of the leading nations when it comes to solar energy if we are able to pick up and match the predictions that are being made right now. And when it comes to local level, in that case, like a fellow panelist said, awareness is a part of it, but we also need to provide the people with alternatives, cheap, efficient, and sustainable alternatives. The way Delhi government just decided to introduce CNG buses, but then they're just trying right now because they do not know if it will be sustainable in the long run or not. If it is, then they will try and make all the buses running on natural gas rather than petrol or diesel or any other sort of fossil fuel. So local level, we can bring forth a little bit of awareness. And if you're able to provide an alternative, which is easily available to them, which they can use and is cheaper, more importantly, then I think we truly can become a leader when it comes to renewable energy and energy security. Yeah.
Thank you, Anushka. Shrivanshu, like, what's your take on it, about this topic? I think your internet connectivity is okay. Yeah.
Yes, I guess it's okay. Am I clear with my audio now?
Yeah, it's better. It's better. It's way better.
So most of the points my fellow panelists have, but now for my take, India, one of the fastest growing major economies, is today also the fastest growing energy consumer in the world, and yet to become the most populous nation, in my opinion, is not so well endowed with energy resources. Currently, it has a mammoth task of meeting its economic and social development goals. And that leaves us with no option but to strive for a sustained growth at a rate of 8 to 10%. So the demand of energy will keep accelerating as we embark on manufacturing through the government Make in India program of our Prime Minister Modi ji, through the development projects, and also to provide access to electricity to all. Consequently, energy security has emerged as one of the salient policy issues over the past few decades, like 10 to 15 years. And the successive governments have emphasized on addressing the energy crisis challenges. In the past, India's energy security approach has been narrow, since we focused only on supply. But over recent 2 decades, India's energy security policy has evolved. And today, the approach is much more inclusive, which takes into account the political, social, environmental, as well as the economic issues. India's quest of energy today could be usually defined as a framework by availability, accessibility, affordability, and acceptability, which is to make energy accessible to all these sections and sectors at an affordable price in socially and politically acceptable carbon control environment. And so about the take on the sustainable development at the local level, I would like to suggest that at the local level, we do not have to, like, local sustainability means that an area is designed, built, and operates in a way that uses energy and natural resources efficiently at a local level, not a very broad level, as my fellow panelists.
Shrivanshu? Shrivanshu, I think.
Yeah, I think his internet connection has gone bad again. I think we can move on.
Probably, okay. But still, whatever he raised the points, it was very clear and it was very distinguished towards this specific question which we were discussing on. So,
Actually, ma'am, I'm
yeah, we understand, Shrivanshu. Like, okay. So, do you want to continue or
thank you. Sorry.
Okay, sure, no problem.
No, actually, I give my part.
Okay, we got your point. Thank you, Shrivanshu. So, like, this was the very first question, and I think it was a very good research by our panelists, and they had a very good points on it. Thank you for it, and I think the audience is going to get it more longer, and they are learning it too. So, moving on to our very next question, like, we know that ISM is a part of energy mining industry, right? So what do you guys think about, like, what will be the challenges faced by this sector for its sustainability along with the adoption of clean energy, like for mining industry people? I think the question is clear to you. Okay. If yes, we can start with Lavkush as chronologically we were going. Yeah.
So basically, the mining is something that you cannot replace anywhere. You cannot get copper from any sustainable sources. You have to do mining. Thing is, how you are going to do mining. Now, see, for mining, we need a machine. Machines, mostly machines we use are based on diesel, petrol, right? Thing is that if we can do possibly, then we should replace them with CNGs, or if we can do possibly, and they must be electric in nature, that will happen in future. Second thing is about waste management. You see, when you do mining, there are lots of pollution that occur. One is the wastewater, second is the air pollution, noise pollution, right? They create a lot of problem for the around area. So for mining to become sustainable and non-objectable by most of the people, it must be this thing must be taken care. For example, we can have a better sludge treatment plant. We could have a better carbon capturing effluent devices. We could have a better, supervision over there, so that the things should remain, sustainable in nature. And the thing for this is that environmental engineering we do is basically we prepare environmental management plans so that the around the area of around the mining should not get too much affected, and people should not object too much for that. So for becoming mining to viable, sustainable, we should focus on the changing the. We could focus on electrification and CNG and rather than the fossil fuels or petroleum parts. So that we can do.
Thank you, Lavkush. It was so impromptu solutions coming up with that question. So moving on, I would like to listen from Sambrant. What's your viewpoints on it?
Can you repeat your question, please? It was unclear for me.
Yeah, sure, Sambrant. Like I was just saying that as being a part of ISM, like ISM is totally dividing its focus on energy mining industry, right? So what do you think when it comes to the adoption of clean energy? So what do you think the challenges will be faced by this mining industry energy we are just extracting from it? I think it's clear to you. Yeah, okay. You can continue.
So first of all, we need to see that both sustainable and clean word in energy resources, that they are very, they are very rare. If an energy resource is sustainable, it is not clean, or if it is both, like it is clean as well as sustainable, then it creates pollution as well. So all the things we cannot achieve it 100%, but we can hope for a solution which is better in its efficiency. As my fellow panelist has suggested that the heavy machines in mining would be replaced, the diesel or the oil that they are using should be replaced by CNG. So I don't think so that CNG would be so powerful to hold those machines, but we need to figure out a new and well-developed resources. So what we can do is that at the institution level, we should be working in the area of energy efficiency, and should provide a vital solution for these issues. The next thing is that the auto fuel quality should be improved, and it should be raised to BSVI norms. So for the nationwide launch of this auto fuel, then we can see is that then we can export some of the oil by constructing the refineries. Like when we see the international organization OPEC, Saudi Arabia controls most of it, and mostly USA and Russia are responsible for it, for controlling it. So we can, as we are the more importer of the oil and we are the third largest consumer as well, we must take a leverage from them and try to negotiate some of the prices issues, so that can reduce the cost of oil in our country a bit. I don't know how much it will be effective, but it should be effective, and because geopolitical issues are also there in these matters. Now, I will talk about the coal thermal power plant production and how to check the pollutions, as well as how to control the CO2 and other greenhouse gases. So we can reduce we can reduce the emissions of the coal from the coal thermal plant production. Like I want to give one statistic that may be important for you, that this topic is very necessary, because 1.1 gigaton of the CO2s are being emitted, and these consist of nearly 2.5% of the global GHG production. So we need to have a biomass co-firing, sorry for that, so that we can mix a biomass with the coal and produce, and this would reduce the amount of coal that the pollution, that the gases will be reduced from the chimneys. And coal beneficiation and investing on coal capture, carbon capture storage, that would be very helpful for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Samrand. Before moving on to the next panelist, I just want to make it more clear about that we can, as a panelist, we can just focus on the solutions, on the exact point which we are talking about, so that it would be very crisp, and we should make it crisp and short, so that we can we can like discuss about more wide views we can cover in this short span of time. Yes, like moving forward, I just want to go to Rashmi and just ask about what she thinks about this point.
As we move ahead in the future, we are going to see an increase in the number of clean energy jobs. The sectors which are renewable, we are going to see an increasing number of jobs in those areas, and we are going to slowly decline in the production of non-renewables like coal and petroleum. So I think one of the major priorities should be to help the people who are currently in those sectors which work with non-renewables, so that as we gradually shift towards renewables, they are not left behind. They are well taken care of, to equip them with technologies so that they can be helpful in renewables areas as well, because yes, we are slowly going to increase towards renewables, and that is going to lead to a decline in the jobs of the non-renewable section. So I think that is one of the very important things we should be doing. Another thing is that there is a lot of there is a release of gas which is in the form of flare in the petroleum sector, because that gas could not be stored and other reasons. So a very important thing is, as we're shifting more towards gas society, we are shifting more towards a society which heavily depends on gas, and this is one of India's aims, to depend more on gas as compared to oil. So I think we should invest more on the research of the petroleum sector itself, so that there is a better capturing of gas which we are releasing. The research should be more in that area. Along with that, when it comes to coal sector and the other mining sector, we see water stress a lot. They need these areas need water, and along with that, they release high heat, which is not very suitable for the environment, for the ecology in that area. So this is one thing which we should work upon, so as to reduce the water stress, to have technology which uses less water. Along with that, we are efficiently discharging the heat and not causing harm to the environment. This is another thing which we should work on. And as an institute, we should be working more on research, technology. We should combine, we should collaborate with the industries out there to know about their problems and work on that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Rashmi. Like, it was very nice. How do you collaborated this mining industry to the petroleum industry, and just talked about the technology development for the more cleaner energy which we'll be using in the future. Thank you, Rashmi. Moving forward, Cheluri, Srihari, like, what's your viewpoints on it?
Actually, I want to take a stand here. They are mentioning like a world over problems. Like, question is like how ISM is gonna do in anything related to energy sector. What is the role of the ISM? And even consider about the mining problem here. So it would be better like people who are working in mining will speak about it, then it will be better. Like petroleum people can speak about petroleum, and people who are specialized in a certain sector, if they speak about it, then it will be better. And don't go over the all over the world problems. Speak about like what is the role of the ISM and how we can make some change. Then it will be better instead of going all over the problem. Like first thing, even if it might take some time, like I would mention like what is the role of ISM means. ISM contains different departments. So like if you ask any person, even he's petroleum or mining engineer or a environmental science person, any person, if you ask like if you know from beginning to the end the process, like the how the rock is formed. One rock is formed, we're getting metal out of it, and this done by first geology people will do the exploration. Then the after the exploitation should be done, and that will be done by the mining people. And after exploitation is done by mining people, then it goes to the environmental and fuel and metallurgy mineral people. Every department of our college involves in certain sector in the energy sector. So everyone should have an idea about every field. So the research should continue. Like if every person in certain department will be coming and they do interdisciplinary work concerning the energy sector, then we can make a certain progress. It's like some saying is that like if someone sees an elephant from each side of the part, they will think that is a different animal rather than considering it as an elephant. Like that, if we consider problem like from petroleum people see from their perspective, it will be different. Like some Lokesh say, what are the machinery? How can we say in CNG and all in mining? It is like very difficult part. You come into reality and speak what is in the present problem. Like this Rashmi mentioned, like reduce a gap between industry, that is a good part. And she said about jobs, like speak some realistic points so that other people can involve in the discussion. Thank you.
Yes, like Srihari pointed about being much realistic about this panel discussion. Yes, like maybe like we are just moving on to the hypothetical part, but yes, we can ground up, we can make the roots to the ground, and we can move on with very short and very crisp points. Thank you, Srihari, for pointing out that like that lacuna. So moving on. I would like to come up with Ayushman's view. I just want to know about what he thinks about it.
Yeah, as far as the mining engineering sector is concerned, it is at the very heart of energy production sector, that is coal mining. And if mining as a process is seen, it interacts directly with the environment, and it is the very necessity of it to disturb the environment conditions of the surroundings. Like if we consider, we have to blast the rocks, the overburdened rocks, if we are doing open cast mining. So if we do the blasting, then vibrations are generated on the ground surface and below the ground, and nearby plants and animals, they have the problems with it. And as stated by the previous panelists, there are many big machines. One of the biggest machines are working in the mines. And so that also causes problems. So these are the major challenges I wanted to point out in mining industry.
Yeah, I think Srihari can just go on with like this was very crisp and like really what mining industry was facing. Ayushman, it was very good. Like and moving on, Anushka, what's your viewpoints on it?
Yeah, when we're talking about mining, we have two major problems here. First is the environmental concern. Second is the quality of the ore. The more we mine, the more difficult it is to get good quality ores, because everybody wants to be extracting that particular section, and it gets depleted, which results in even deeper extraction processes. Now, these two things are codependent on each other, and that's why when we come to challenges in the mining industry, these are the two things that we need to solve. When we talk about what ISM can do in this, what we can do is research on machinery that is used in these extraction processes and try and replace the fuel the way the other panelists mentioned, that using other sources like maybe CNG or electricity, which would help making this more environment friendly. It is not possible, I don't think, that it will go 100%, but still to some extent. And also with the help of AI, and machine learning, we can make mining more efficient. That would also help in reducing the amount of risks that the mining industry takes or involves and the damage that is done to the surrounding area. And ISM is actually doing this, going ahead with projects that involve machine learning and AI in the mining industry and the energy industry as well. So these are things that ISM can actually do along with going ahead with the research.
Yes, like I'd really agree to Anushka, because yes, ISM is just going forward about like working or research, doing research on implementing machine learning and AI in mining industry. So that would be carrying a really a great impact about the challenges which will be faced through the mining industry that may cope up with it. So I would like to go on through Shrivanshu. Like if you have any, like not having any network issue, like can you move forward and speak up on this topic?
Yes, sure. So as as all the other panelists pointed out, there are some challenges that are really the ground challenges, like the unemployment caused by that the panelist Rashmi said, the unemployment caused by the change in resources, that if we shift from the renewable, this shift in the renewable resources. Next, the gas emissions in the mining processes, specifically mining, the gas emissions. Next, the machinery emissions. Whatever machinery we use in mining, the emissions from those are also highly pollutant. After that, the acid-related damage in the mining processes. So my take on that how ISM can tackle, or how mining industry can tackle these challenges, contains a few points. Okay, so the very first point is CSS, that's carbon capture and storage. The very first, my fellow panelists also mentioned this. I would like to elaborate a bit at this point, that it's a technology involving trapping the carbon dioxide that would otherwise be emitted into atmosphere during mining process, as I pointed out. So this technology should be more and more researched and should be made better. Okay, so the next very point is an approach similar to hybrid vehicles. We all have heard about hybrid vehicles. Our college also organized a seminar on that a very few days before. So approach similar to hybrid vehicles, we can use them in the mining machinery. From my department, from mining machinery department. So I can relate to that we can have a similar approach in them. We can hybridize them, not solely dependent on the fuels, okay? Partly dependent on the electricity. So the next point can be that one of the approaches can be zero discharge processes that remine existing waste materials to recover valuable metal and minerals, not dumping the first process waste, remining it. Next, last but not least, mine recover and rehabilitation and the phytocat projects are also a must apply for our industry. Thank you. That was my take.
Thank you, Srivanshu. Like I would just like wrapping up this topic about what are the challenges faced by mining industry if we adopt the clean energy revolution through this upcoming years. So anybody in the panelists would like to add on or just like to conclude about it, making it a good frame?
Actually, everyone is speaking about this how to make it clean energy and all. Like, hear me?
Yes, yes. Now you're audible. Srihari, you are muted.
Hello?
Yeah, now you're audible.
Yeah, so people are speaking about artificial intelligence and machine learning. Actually, in coming to the base reality, India is having so much of population, and this artificial intelligence and machine learning will be okay when if a number of people per square kilometer or less and less people involved in the mining, it will be okay. But for us, and we can make use of it in the mining properly. And next is with the electricity and all, it's like future technology, and we should keep working on it. But we can't say like totally we can rely on that. Thank you.
Yeah, like considering through Srihari's point, I really can I can really think we can really think about it, because now presently India is like in one day in India around 70,000 kids are born per day. So it's like highest in the world per day. Like we are just like 70,000 kids are being born. So we in the near future, I think India will be having the largest population in the world, crossing the China, because China is now producing around 56,000 kids per childs are born. So like, yes, we can like dive into making artificial intelligence more stronger into this machine learning field. But yes, we have to also think about how this population, how this unemployment will be caused for this. But it may dive to a different perspective. It may divert us from our real goal. We are here to discuss about how ISM can make this energy revolution carry to a significant level. So moving on to our, yes, Rashmi.
Yeah, I just wanted to add a few points. Uh, if we include data science and artificial intelligence and those stuff in the mining industry, I don't think it's going to affect the population, and it's actually going to help it. The large population has nothing to do with it. If we are concerned about unemployment, we should know that as we move ahead in the future, we are going to have more and more clean energy jobs, and much more than what we have currently in the mining sector. The number of jobs are actually going to increase if we are going to think like that. So the data science thing and artificial intelligence things is actually going to be useful as it is going to bring in more safety for the people who are working over there already. Thank you.
Yes,
Yeah.
if I may add something to that.
Yes, sure,
I
Anusha.
think I agree with what Rashmi is saying, as in, I'm not saying that today itself it's going to make a change, or today itself somebody is going to come up with an AI algorithm or something that will completely revolutionize the industry. That won't happen. Like a panelist pointed out that it's not going to be 100% clean or anything, but it is going to make a difference. The way Rashmi said, with time, as we move on into the future, more and more we'll have to be dependent on cleaner energy sources, and AI and ML are just getting better every day. They're not sliding back down, they're just becoming more and more efficient, and we are going to depend more on them in the future. Yeah, that's what I
So
want
for
to
your
say.
information, if you, I want to add that it.
Yes, Srihari. I think you are having some network issue.
Yes, Harshita, let's move on. Srihari might come back and put on.
Okay. Like when he comes back, we can just dwell back upon that. Moving forward, we are here to discuss about how ISM, like what as a role model we can become to make this energy revolution transition to a cleaner energy in the near future. So yes, like we are the students of IIT ISM Dhanbad. So what do you really think? How IIT ISM should design its curriculum to to really carry this energy revolution, or to have a renewable energy technology of clean energy in the near future? What about the curriculums should be set on? Yes, Lavkush, we can start by you.
Okay. So one thing that I have seen first year, second year about the curriculum is that people's students generally are not aware about climate change. Means most thing about environmental, because you take any field. If you are a computer science engineering, if you are engineer, environmental engineer, or whether electrical engineer, petroleum engineer, any field, you need to make yourself with environment. Because if you are not taking care of environment and you are not understanding the basic things about climate change, how they are working, we can not be a good person at least. We can be a good engineer earning a good money in CSE, but we should understand about that. So one thing is about we could have the ESO in climate change, or it could be a mandatory for all as well. second thing that we can say is that we could have debates just like that we have happening right now. So if we encourage these type of debate at Jharkhand level as well, so we can have a more innovative idea from different groups that are present in Jharkhand or around them.
Yes, totally agree to you, Lavkush. Like this panel discussions, like create so much. Like we together bring up so much new points, which maybe we in the alone mind or with one-minded thing we cannot dive up into. And yes, really being sensible to the environment, irrespective of which department you are. I feel like the electricity, the switching on and off kind of thing in the hostels, these things we can ponder upon, and just as an individual we can take care of it. Yes, moving forward from Sambrant, like what do you really feel about the change in the curriculum in IIT Dhanbad?
Well, before coming to the topic, I would like to point out that we have this platform is the very beginning of the matter, that we are in a good way in the near future, that ISM will come with new ideas as well as new innovation techniques through this panelist. The fellow panelists have pointed out some of the points that are extraordinary points, and if we look upon it in detail, and the audiences as well, if they will start researching on it, then they will get the broader insight and they will look into the matter in a big picture. So it itself is an achievement for the IIT ISM, and it is playing a great role in energy security. I do agree with my fellow panelists that I am an electronics student, and I am very interested in mining engineering as well as environmental engineering. The first year curriculum was very captivating for me, as well as it was immaculate. So I think that we should inculcate all the subjects, whether it be in ESO or any other, or like it would be compulsory. Then we can produce a brilliant mind students who are good at everything. Like if I would be an electronic engineer, and I would work in a project that extracting the water from water through humidity. So let this be a project. Then I need to know what are the chemicals involved in it, what are the electronic things involved in it, what are the computer things involved in it, what are the environmental things involved in it. So by this we can, yeah, thank you. That's all from my side.
Yes, Sambrant, like it was very particular. Moving on, Rashmi, what is your point of view on this?
Yeah. So ISM is a very unique institute in the sense that it has a lot of fields at the same place. We have computer science, electronics, mining, petroleum, everything. So a major thing which we can be doing right now is combining these fields and do research, because we see that BTechs are not much interested in research. So if the institute brings in some incentive, I don't know, whichever sort it brings, if it brings some incentive for the BTech students, I think we should be doing more work in this sector, because we people are actually interested as the young generation to have better quality, to have resources from which we get energy in better sources without pollution. So this is a very important thing, to combine all the fields and provide incentives to the BTech students to take part in this research sector. Along with that, another thing which I think should be done is collaborate with the world universities and have sessions with them, and also include keep updating the curriculum, because if we keep including the recent technologies and innovations and ideas, it is actually going to help us to think more on that sector. Because if we bring something different, we're going to think about this, that where did this come from, what more can we do about that. So I think that this should also be done to encourage people towards the sector, towards the research sector. Yeah, so that's what I would want to say, that bring more people towards the sector, bring incentives, bring the universities together and update the curriculum.
Yeah, Rashmi, like if we ponder upon your point of view, yes, we can find some new changes upon this regarded about the change in curriculum through having the unity and yes, yeah, we will be moving forward. And just before concluding, like we can have more points, more interesting and like more I want like our panelists should make something more different out of the genre. Like we can think about more like it's becoming very like flat kind of thing. Yes, moving forward, Chaluri, can we have what kind of point of view do you think our curriculum needs?
Actually, instead of the question, I want to comment about the previous panelists, what they have told. Thinking about like having discussion about all the other universities and all, leave about all those. Just want to ask one question. Each department of ours has minimum of 20 faculty and they have minimum of 2-3 scholars and each person working on separate projects and they have own individual projects. So at least each department have 10 or 12 fields of same branch in which they are working. At least do you know in which parts of your branch your faculties?
Chaluri, I think like there is again a network issue with you.
Working, you just know about that, then it'll be more than enough to get your ideas. First, sorry. So like if you, am I audible?
Now you're audible. Like in between, like there was a stack of your voice.
Okay, maybe network issues.
And now you can continue. Now you can continue.
I want to say that like each department has different faculty who are working on different projects. So if you get an idea about like all the projects that are happening in your department, that is more than enough knowledge for you to get an idea. First, having discussion like this, if you get an idea about what is happening in your department, in your college, then it will be of much use, according to me.
Can I reply to this at the moment?
Yeah, sure.
Ashada?
Sorry, Rashmi.
I think I can reply in the middle of the discussion, right?
Yeah. You can.
Yeah. So it doesn't cause any harm if we bring knowledge from other parts of the world. I know that ISM is a pioneer and we are doing a great work with this because we have so many alumnus everywhere around the energy sector. But if we want some acceleration towards it, if we want some knowledge, if we want to have experience of the professors all over the universities, the students over there, if we collect all the ideas, I think it is going to be even more beneficial. We are a great team. ISM is a great team, and having a collaboration is going to make it even better. So I think it's a great point to have universities collaborating with ISM. And it's a small, like, we are a small community. We are a big community, of course, but making it even bigger is going to be better.
So that is a good point, actually.
Chaluri? Again, you had that network glitch.
Sorry.
After this, maybe you can solve it by fixing it. Yeah,
okay.
you can continue your point.
So like this meeting is based on reality basis, actually, I'm thinking, because we are talking about ISM level. So as speaking about like this point, yeah, I want to make only one thing clear, that better know about your campus first. That's it. Thank you.
Personally, I feel Chailuri, can you just these were all about the comments to the previous panelist. I just wanted to know from you how, if you kind of think, how do you think the curriculum should be set?
Curriculum, basic knowledge is required for everyone. All the BTech people, when coming to the campus, maybe they won't be knowing about the branch they are going to study much, because up till our education system intermediate level, we don't know anything. Like, you don't know what is geology, you don't know what people does in the field, you don't know what is petroleum engineering. You might be knowing by name, but you don't know what they will be working on. So basic level is okay. I'm very much satisfied, and including new things like in the industrial sector, how the people are working and what are the problems they are facing. They should be giving awareness to the BTech people. See, if you are studying some subject, if you know people are facing some problem related to that subject, you can give your point, and that can be made ISM is working on that by making some alumni come by and give conferences. All these give an idea, but I want to say you get to know
There was again a network glitch from your
sorry,
side.
I'll continue later. You continue. It's been so much of distance.
Okay.
Can I suggest a change in curriculum? Or
we can move forward to further panelists. At the end, we can you can, Samrant, you can continue what you just wanted to say or add on. Moving forward to panelists, I just want everyone, the rest panelists should focus on, dwell on about the solutions, about the practical thing, what really we can come out to this, because this is where the platform which we are discussing about, and want to create some change, want to create have some solutions. So yes, panelist Ayushman, what's your point of view on this? What kind of changes do ISM can have in the curriculum to have a better sustainable energy revolution in the future for the clean energy?
Yeah, so as we know, ISM has many earth science-based branches. So these branches, as we know, are well established from many years, and their course structure remains same over the decades. So I think the course structure should be very dynamic. It should include new innovations in those areas, new technologies that have been invented to more efficiently reduce energy, etc., for efficient production and transmission of energy. And apart from this curriculum, I think ISM should sponsor some research projects which are focusing on the development of models which can be implemented in real life about this energy security and sustainability. Some research projects should be sponsored by them.
May I say something? Just
yeah, sure, Love Kush, you can.
Yeah, I was. मुझे बस यही कहना है कि basically the problem is that second years haven't seen our college, right? तो उनको वो नहीं पता कि हमारा कॉन्सिटो भी होता है, मतलब टेक्निकल फेस्ट होता है, इसमें बच्चे अपने आइडिया लाते हैं, तो वो सब हमारे यहाँ वो है, मतलब अपना, ठीक है। दूसरा, फॉरेन यूनिवर्सिटी से भी कोलैबोरेशन है हमारा, अगर आप देखेंगे मेल वगैरह, अगर आप थोड़ी देर बाद आएंगे, प्रोफेसर अगर पूछोगे आप लोग, तो आपको समझ में आएगा कि ये सब हमारे अंदर ऑलरेडी है, बस हमें जानना है उसको, तो अगर वो हम करें तो ज्यादा अच्छा होगा, मतलब है वो हमारे यहाँ सब कुछ, आप लोग आए नहीं।
Yeah, yes, as a sophomore, we may have not been attended the college, so for this for that lack of image in the mind, but still I love the way people are carrying out, people are just making it their effort best to come up with or bank on this topic. So moving forward, Anushka, what do you want to add upon these points as the previous panelists did upon it?
Yeah, as a fellow panelist pointed out, that we may understand these branches by name. This is petroleum engineering, this is mining engineering, but we don't know the details, right? So maybe we can make the way the panelist suggested, making it a bit dynamic. Our curriculum already provides us with ESOs, elective courses. Even if you're in electronics, you can pick up an introductory course for petroleum engineering. We can further that idea and maybe build courses such that people can if they choose to, then they can go to those courses which are not just one particular thing, but a combination of them. Like some IITs are doing it, that creating courses which are specifically about energy. It's just energy. So they're going to teach everything that is required to come up with solutions in energies. In same way, we can also go ahead and do it. At present, there are not many IITs doing this, but we can make curriculums and courses that are specifically dealing with industries which are big enough in themselves to, warrant a course like energy, when it comes to all forms of energy. And we can, encourage more interdepartmental work. We can bring those people together. True, there is a lot of work going on, but not everybody is aware of it. So maybe increase the awareness among students as well. That can help. Yes, so that is what I think can be done. Maybe.
Guys, one more thing, can we just dwell upon like the mania for like going into the IT sector, or just having this coding world throughout, like it's happening, it's a revolution happening all over the India, or maybe the world, because this is a digital world. So like there is a high range of mania towards this coding field. So what do you really think, like how should we manage about, how should we tackle? Because that's for sure, because that field maybe have some more financially good thing, but that may not solve our nation's like really our world's problem. So how do you think, like tackling with that IT sector, and with our course, with our own courses, and with this new courses being added to our curriculum? So what do you think, guys? Like how do you think we can tackle, or we can move upon it? Like anybody who can, panelist who can, Samprant, you wanted to speak something on it, you can add few points.
Yeah, it was the previous question that what should be the curriculum. So I had an idea that a common course should be introduced and BTech degree should be common. But after that, we should have a specialization in a single topic, like in a master's. We can do it 2 years and have a specialization. Before that, we can have a common engineer degree. And I believe that if BJP government sustains next term, then it will do it. Yeah, that was my point.
Seeming to be highly inclined towards BJP, but still not politically, we are not moving towards that. And we can move on to Shivanshu. Like, yeah, buddy, like you can share what are your views on it.
Thank you, Harshada. For a moment, I thought you forgot to call my name. I thought you moved.
No, not for sure, not for sure.
Okay. So now basically, I have a plus point being the last of all the panelists. I can summarize, I can take points from all of my friends. So basically the thing is, just to summarize what other panelists said, that there must be a course regarding climate change or the environment change. They can be, it's a very good option. Okay. So, and the next point was that the discussions like this panel discussion, these are really very insightful discussions, and there should have be more discussions like that. These are really very helpful and insightful. The next is regarding the basic knowledge of all. What my take is that the first year does it all. The first year does the thing that it introduces everyone in the college, regardless of the branches, to a basic introduction to everything. Now, what I want to add from my side, that a very basic part of the environmental engineering can be added to the mining courses, so that we can we get to know that what are the consequences of what we are going to do. The next point that I want to put here is that the introduction vehicles, even HEV engines can be a good option for introduction in courses of mechanical and the mining machinery engineering department. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Shivanshu. Yeah, sir. Like,
I would just like to add a point. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Just after all of the discussion about the courses, I think I just like to add the point. ISM is a point. ISM is at the point where we can initiate a transition. We can initiate a transition from our traditional mining type of studies to the course of the clean energy. So we can just not say we are only the energy intensive sector study. We would not only have the energy intensive sector studies, but also the clean energy sector too. So just we have to diversify our courses and also incorporate our MOUs with all of the institution to have a watch with this changing world. I just want to add that.
Yes, sir. Like it was a very good observation and the point towards which we were discussing about. I think any of the further doubts from the audience is going to come. Yes, admission number 460, sorry. You wanted to ask any few questions? Yes.
I wanted to add a point. Like we could introduce a new course like BTech in energy engineering, like which includes that renewable and non-renewable sources, because at present we are mostly dependent on these non-renewable resources, and which mainly depends on the chemical energies. So a bachelor's degree from any particular branch, like for mechanical or a mining engineering, they cannot do much research in this field. Like, so we can shift it to like another type of BTech degree, BTech in energy engineering, or else we can shift to the renewable sources, like decreasing that load on mining sectors. Like we can have those solar panels in the oceans and all those, as the sun is the main source of energy to our planet. Any type of energy, its main source is the sun. So we can explore more about it. That's it.
Yeah, like as the previous panelist also mentioned about it too, of adding such kind of courses. But yes, like we were quite very fascinating about the audience are quite very inquisitive of knowing this panel discussion. And yes, maybe it is more touchy to them. So on this time, I would like to ask Professor Pankaj Mishra, sir, like sir, what do you feel like, what is your point of view on what happened for today's discussion on the role of ISM for the development of sustainable energy?
Yes, Harsada, actually I'm out. I was listening all the points made by all the panelists, and I was really very happy to see that how deep they are thinking about the current energy scenario, and the suggestions made by all the panelists as far as the course structures and the changes which are required in the IIT-ISM curriculum, as well as the future direction which our institute should take as far as the energy security is concerned. I was very happy to know that how fruitful these discussions are, and point made by Sri Hari and all other panelists, they were very, very to the point. Only point I would like to make here is that our institute is having a center for solar energy research, and they are doing extremely well. However, there are many limitations. But in the previous few years, we have developed an extremely state-of-art laboratory facilities, okay, having very up to the mark front running equipments, and our faculty and our research scholars as well as our students are taking help of them to develop different type of materials. Day before yesterday, I found one of the MTech students called me that they have developed some graphene material, and they have developed a technology which through which they can develop graphene from any kind of carbon materials. And they wanted to start a startup starting from that. So we have taken their material and we have requested for further tests so that we can be sure that this material is going to work. So all these kind of research is and development is going on. Truly, whatever said by the panelists, that it is the mindset which has to be changed. You know, the prosperity of a country is actually measured nowadays as per the definition which prevails throughout the world, is that how much energy everybody is consuming. An average American consumes approximately 36 times more energy than an average Indian. So they are more prosperous. So if this is the definition of the prosperity, we are going towards consuming more and more energy. And we know that approximately 96-94% of our energy requirements are still made by the fossil fuels. So, and you know, the fossil fuels are reserves and they are not going to be there forever. So we have to come up with the technologies which can harness the clean energy. And the main source of the clean energy, as rightly said by everybody, is the solar energy, and they are different by different other forms of the energy. But so the main crunch, which is a main thrust area, which is going to be the future, is the research in developing materials which can give us the solar panels with higher and higher efficiency. If we can go in that direction, then we will be able to address our energy security issues. Now, in the continuity of this, I told you that I'm very happy, but I request the SIC team that the discussion which has been made today here should be. Am I audible, Harshada?
Yes, sir, you're really audible, sir.
Okay. So SIC team should take note of this, that they should make a summary report of this event. Okay, 1 or 2 page summary, and please send it to the NVCTI or to Mr. Professor Ajit. And that report will be sent to the administration, that these are the views of our panelists during these discussions. And we will see what action can be taken by different departments, because the changes, like for example, the system is an elephant. If you have to change something, you have to apply lots of force. Okay, so but one has to start somewhere. So the views were very good and very inquisitive and very innovative. You know, I must inform here that all of you were discussing about the energy securities, and lots of people are talking about the mining and other things. There is a award which is given by the Alumni Association in collaboration with the IIT ISM Hyderabad, that is called Piyush Datta Innovation and Innovation Award. So that award is given to the final year students for developing, final year students of all the departments, for developing a technology which has application in mining industry. Okay, so I request you all, who are in the first year, or those who are in the second year, or those who are in the third year. Okay, I think there is no one in first year. So to prepare themselves, okay, whenever they go to the final year, they can come out, because this event is going to be every year. And those who are in the final year, they should think of applying if they have some ideas. Okay, the last date was 30th. The last date is 30th of September. Okay, so with this, I must congratulate the organizers as well as the panelists, mostly, that they participated in this, and they came out with so much deep pondered points, which I'm sure that if our system is going to ponder over them and take care of them, then the system will improve, certainly. So thank you, Harshada.
Thank you so much, sir, for your words. Like most of the people, we haven't ever visited the college, but still, like, we are happy to know that so much development are being happening in our college. So much revolution towards the clean energy field is gonna run. And of course, sir, we will submit the report by making the conclusion and the summary of it. Yes, Shivanshu, like, do you want to add some point?
Yes, actually, Harshada, I prepared a point, but you didn't ask the question. The point was about Sir has said that there is a group in our college that is doing research on the solar electricity. So I would just like to add an idea. If that's an idea people know, then that's completely okay. But I just want to add from my side that that double-sided, a solar panel that is double-sided and that can also track the sun using the GPS. That is also a very good idea, and I propose that idea. Not I, because it has not been used practically, but actually it has been proposed. It is not made practically, but it has been proposed in a foreign university. I just want the people to know that it can be researched in the college. It can be a matter of research in the college. A double-sided tracking sun solar panels.
Yeah, like, it's a very new thing, like, for me, and I think for most of the audience, it's a very new creative thing. And hope, like, things, we work upon this and we make things correctly out, making it productive, more productive. And yes, like, if any of the audience who want to say something or just give the review of today's discussion, like, you're welcome to do that. Yeah, Akhil, yes. Chaluri, we will come to you after that, Akhil. Akhil, you can proceed.
I think that nuclear energy is also a great alternative to fossil fuels. They're clean, and if you get the sources right, it's also sustainable. And India has massive thorium resources. So I believe that ISM can play a role in mining, extracting, and processing this and storing it. And nuclear energy is like much more energy dense and efficient than most of the forms of energy. So that's a field that we can look into. That's all. Thank you.
Yes, Akhil, we can. It's a point is into consideration, but looking at about the wastage of nuclear energy, it is one of the most enthralling, and I think still the world is working upon the waste management of nuclear energy, which is very much hazardous to human health, because only the dumping has been found about as the solution, and. Yes,
if I may add, the nuclear waste has found applications in other fields right now. They've developed batteries that last not for months or years, but centuries or millennia. They don't provide a large potential difference, but it can be used to power low energy appliances. Also, with the development of feeder reactors, you can reuse some of the waste to power to power the reactor again. So there's constant research into managing the waste, and waste management of nuclear reactors can also be another field that we can look into. Thank you.
Yes, we can totally dwell upon it, and literally waste management of anything, any field, it has been a very taboo subject of today's genre with the digital world. Yes, Chaluri, you can proceed upon your views.
The sustainable energy mainly comes with the renewable sources of energy. And one thing I want to mention, like mining reserves, if you don't exploit them, it won't stay for many million years. It won't be staying like that. It will be transforming to some another energy. So mining energy resources should be exploited, and we have to make it in an effective way. And that is a main theme I think we should consider. And ISM is working on it. And coming to the renewable resource of energy, many people are talking about solar panels and solar energy only. It's a good thing. Solar energy they are talking on because it's continuous form of energy that is available. But one thing I want to mention, solar panels what we will do as a lifetime of, I think, nearly 25 years or something. After that, this solar panel, someone has mentioned we can have solar panels on the ocean. Okay, you will have solar panels on the ocean. After 25 years, what the total waste of solar panel that you have produced, what you will do with it? And production of solar panels, photovoltaic panels, linked to carbon emissions, toxic waste, and it related to some other wastes also. How are you gonna plan related to it? And considering that electrical vehicles and everything they are mentioning, that is also good thing only. But think of it like yeah, consider like area where people, everyone is using electrical vehicle only. So everyone comes to a home and charge their vehicle at night, and that much input of electrical energy, where you are going to get it? And consider the scenario in mining, but total mine, if it is having total electrical energy, from where you are going to create that energy and how it will be sustaining? It is a difficult thing. Lokesh, you want to say something?
I would like to comment on that about the solar panel thing.
Sure.
If we see the total carbon output, the carbon footprint of a solar panel as compared to other carbon resources, I think that the solar panel does release some carbon footprint, but it is much lower as when compared to coals and petroleum and natural gases. So overall, it is more environment friendly, even though it releases some waste.
What that point is right point. Like in the beginning, we'll think the same thing. Like consider instead of using this ordinary jute bags and everything, we're using plastic bags so as to reduce our work. But in the long run, in the beginning stage, it is simple only. In the long run, where did we end? We are unable to digest the plastic anyway. So this happens with the solar panels also. That is what in long run we can think of it. So we have to think a solution from now on what we can do. In the beginning stage, it won't be considering as a problem. Like in the plastic, what they thought, we can dump it in the ocean, it will be done. But now it has turned into a great Pacific garbage belt, if someone has heard about it. It turned into an island totally of plastic. And coming to the other thing about ISM, one more suggestion I want to add, like you can create something. This group is very good group, and I want to ask you all, like if you can create like something, know your college. Like what are the research concepts going on? Like what are the awards they are giving? As you told, like some benefits should be given to the BTech people so that they can attract to the research. There are some things, but many people doesn't know about it. And I think Gymkhana is also working on that. So if you get like doing research, attaching to your research scholars, attaching to your professors and what they're working on and which industry they're working on. Even I am research scholar, but still I don't know like every department what they're working on. If you can create some group like innovative and interesting research which is going in our college will be available to everyone. At least we can hear about it. In foreign universities, there is a program called 3-minute presentation. In that, we have to give only one slide and we have to provide the research what we are working on. If something that is created by us, then it will be interesting for everyone. Even BT people won't be so much bored by listening to 10-20 slides. By one slide, you can understand what innovation is going on, and that can create them interest. Unlike if I am a geologist, like I am from mining department, someone comes from electronics and he says this is going to happen, my mind will be searching some solution which I am unable to understand and in my book, so it won't be there. But his idea can give me a solution and I can collaborate with him. That collaboration is what is needed in ISM, I think. Thank you.
Yeah, like great points were raised by, yes, Chaluri, we got to you. Like, yeah, we had some network glitch in between, but still, like, we traced out your points about, like, we are starting solar energy or any kind of energy, but still we aren't able to think about the final destination. Like now we are facing with plastics. But recently I read about something Baden University of Manitoba in Canada. They just studied about wax worms. Like it's a kind of information, like I feel like I could share this. Like they live in plastics like ethylene, so they eat only that thing. So they are like, it would be better if we research on it, and such wax worms who are natural and who are living on this plastic that will decompose them.
One more point I want to add, like if everyone concentrate on the human waste, that will be the good resource of energy resource. And I want to, in this situation, I want to mention, like in China, they did a research and they're going through adult diapers. They're making pellets and this is converted into energy. So human waste is the biggest energy we are having, and human population is also so much that energy can be created, gases can be produced, and waste can be used as manure. So much is being done, but that is, everyone is thinking that goes into agriculture department only. No, it can become, it can be understood into engineering sector as well. Consider humans not only as like humans, but as a resource of energy, source of energy, we can use them. Thank you.
Yeah, it was a great point. Like I know many of the people wants to say a lot of things. So I think Sambrant, I know you want to say something, but try to make it short and crisp, which as we have some time constraining. Yes.
Yeah, okay. I want to say that we cannot entirely depend upon the solar source of energy, because it takes some area to land those solar panels in our, and due to the growth of population, many people don't have, many people are facing the lack of, the area as well as scarcity of land is there. So we cannot entirely rely upon the solar energy. So we need a balance between all of the energy resources that we have. So by this, I like to conclude my.
Yeah, like Sambrant, coming up with floating solar panels. So these panels are working upon the rivers. We can put them into oceans, so that now the seas and rivers are of no use because we are not consuming land here. So yes, we can object that too. Yes, Lavkush, you can come up, but with short and crisp. Yes.
Just I want to mention two things. One thing is that talking about land area, we have huge Thar desert, and then you move to Africa, you have that Sahara desert. So land is not a problem, first of all. The second thing is that we just don't mention one thing, that is a hydrogen cell. It is something that hydrogen fuel, that is something that is emerging idea, and we have huge hydrogen, but the problem is that it is with H2O. So it is huge, but H2O need through electrolysis we need to take it out. And if we can work it, we would have in the huge research in that. So because the problem is that कि हम लोग उसको निकाल नहीं सकते. बस एक चीज है कि जो H2 का जो कैलोरीफिक वैल्यू है वो बाकी से बहुत ज्यादा होता है. तो अगर उसको यूज कर पाए तो हम लोग हैवी मशीन्स को भी आराम से चला सकते हैं. बस उसमें थोड़ा सा रिसर्च करने की जरूरत है हम लोग को. वो हम लोग थोड़ा डिस्कस नहीं कर पाए, इसलिए मैंने थोड़ा सुझाव दिया.
One more is with the geothermal energy. No one has talked
yes,
about.
Sir, yeah.
Geothermal energy you can talk on.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, like actually there are so many points. We had also so many. Yes, Shrivanshu, like you can continue.
Very sorry, I'm really very sorry. That was not decent. Hello.
Sorry, like we didn't get you. Yes, now you're audible.
I actually apologize because there are in between sir was speaking, so I apologize for that. I just want to make it crisp, but I have 2 points left, which I really wanted to share with all the people. The 2 points were that I researched and I got these points, that exhaust gas recirculation, EGR, and selective catalytic reduction, SCR. These are the 2 methods that were my takes while addressing the problem of vehicle emissions. I didn't see that. Actually, I forgot to say that, but these are the matter of research. And so about the idealization of campus regarding renewable energy, we can implant solar, we can implant street lights and various appliances using the electricity. That's also a matter of huge scope of features that has. So piezoelectricity can also be used. That's it. Thank you. Finally, thank you.
Okay, Shrivanshu. It was a great point added. Anushka, like wrapping, yes, you can continue with it.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that it's very true that solar energy comes with its own problems, as in solar energy, wind energy, they have problems associated with them. And also they are intermittent, as in what if the sun doesn't come out? What if we have 2 consecutive rainy days? Storage is a huge issue. I think we should also be looking towards other sources. It was very true that biomass, using biomass energy is, I think, the best option. If done properly, it can actually go on to become much more sustainable than solar energy without the problems. Even in Sahara Desert, if we plan that we'll use that land up, it also is going to have consequences, environmental consequences, which we at present can't see maybe, but covering up an entire desert is obviously going to harm. Same way, floating panels are also harmful with rivers and oceans. So I think biomass at this point, I feel like, is one source of energy that needs a lot more exploring and a lot more research. Yeah, so that I believe can help. That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, Anushka, like I think that also added the point to Cheluri. Like he
No.
also talked about, yes, Cheluri.
This desert solar panels you're talking, like one more point I want to add, like recent research problem. When in desert, when you place solar panels, dust will be coming onto the panels. When dust is coming onto the panels won't be effective. So what you're going to do with it? Ineffective panels are no use. If you are blocking the water, you won't consider about what are the living creatures inside the water. They won't be getting sunlight. So what they will do? So these are the problems are there. So these basic things are already done. Think something beyond it, I want to say.
Yeah, as the coin has two faces, if we go for a head, we are going to find a tail. That's for sure. So yes, before that, Shian sir, you want to add something?
Yes, I want to, just listening all of the discussion and all, I just want to say something that in our energy baskets, these things had its place. We can't replace it at all at the cost of other. They have their positions, and certainly with the time, they will took up their share in each of the sector. Some would have the coal-based industry, some would have the solar industry at their prominence. So eventually we are going towards a better future, and also the circular economy, which is going to come up, would tackle all the problems which are related to waste and the environmental effects. So I just want to conclude that here today in the discussion, we were prominent about the sustainability, energy security. We have gone towards many sectors, and also there are many suggestions which have come out about our curriculum, about the mining sector, about the petrol sector. And thank you to all of you for giving your insights. And with this, I think we should wrap it, the session, the discussion, sorry.
Yes, sir.
Before we wrap up, can I request everyone to just switch on their video so we can take a quick snapshot? Someone from the core team, please take a snapshot.
Sure, sir.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone. It was really a pleasure to be here. Thank you, panelists, and thank you, respected
Thanks
professor.
to all.
So like, can I just officially conclude it by saying few words at the last?
Yes,
sir, Sudeep sir. Yes, sir. I think like there were actually many more questions which were decided to be talked upon, but still we have some like the time foundation has made us like coming up with whatever we had in this discussion, but still even being most of the panelists being a sophomore, like we didn't visit the college, but still the discussions you guys came up with, they were very much enthralling, and looking at your interest and the research upon it, like it's a very insightful, and we had a very good discussion, replicating a sine curve, some highs, some lows, but yes, end was very beautiful. Ant bhala to sab bhala. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank our faculty member Pankaj sir and Ajit sir, who made their presence in this yet enchanting and with a soul striving event. Pankaj sir couldn't make like he is traveling, so he couldn't speak something, but still, sir, thank you for being present here. Sorry, sir. Ajit sir is like traveling, so he couldn't make say some few words. Thank you, Pankaj sir, for giving such good words and motivating us towards doing something great in future. And last but not the least, I would not leave my ardent audience who bared with us in this beautiful and innovative evening. This discussion was very fruitful, and it was very enlightening to all the students who are not here, but still many of them who joined first. And thank you to the panel members, to the organizing team, to the seniors, and to all our faculty members, and all the administration position holders who made this event possible, and who had an instrumental role playing this. And with this, I, as Harshada, signing off. Thank you so much.
one point बस.
Yes,
हाँ,
Lavkush.
अगर हम इस इवेंट में थोड़ा सा टाइम बाउंड करके रखते ना पैनलिस्ट को, तो ज्यादा सही रहता है. मतलब आप 1.5 मिनट या 1 मिनट तक बोलते, उसका टाइम बाउंड करते तो ज्यादा अच्छा डिस्कशन हो पाता और काफी ब्रॉड हो पाता, और क्वेश्चन भी ले सकते थे, क्योंकि हम लोग ने थोड़ा ज्यादा समझ लिया. मुझे ऐसा लगता है.
Okay, Lotus, we will see in future. But I would like to say that, Harshada, you did a commendable job today. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir. Listening from you, it's a very good. Thank you, sir.
You moderated it quite well. And so congratulations to you also.
Thank you, sir.
And to all the panelists, we will keep on organizing such a discussion. By seeing the response today, we are encouraged. So we will come up with new topics, and we will meet again.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
sir. I would like to add another thing, that most of us are sophomores over here. So that's why we couldn't gather all the information about the institute and all the research facilities. We haven't even been to the institute. So if we couldn't be on the point, couldn't gather all the information and speak about that, if we strayed a bit away from the path, we should be forgiven, because we have never been to the institute. We don't know about all the research departments.
I think, no, Rashmi, you guys did a great job.
The institute is getting all to come to the campus. Let's see how the things evolve in time. And seeing the way you people are talking, we are very much hopeful that our future is good. Thank you.
Yes, sir. So we will take all these learnings from here today, and will surely replicate in the future dialogue series. So hope we all meet together in this next event with next dialogue series. Till then, stay happy, stay sanitized, and yeah, be with your family. Have a great day. Good night, guys.
Thank you all of the.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.